Welcome to our posts. Today, we will see stories of r/TrueOffMyChest. I came into life changing money. My wife doesn't know yet. I plan on taking her out to a really nice dinner and surprising her with the news. I came into the money recently when my grandmother passed. Everything was settled last week and I'm still on cloud 9. She was 102 and I was her favorite grandson. She cut my dad her kid off. Never liked my mom, and has no remaining family alive aside from other grandkids, which means most of everything went to me by default. I was the only grandkid who even checked on her and spent time with her at her age, so that really helped me unintentionally. I'm really sad about my grandma, don't get me wrong, but I never expected my life situation to change. At the rate the world is going, I expected to have to get a second job to help pay rent. It isn't millions, but it's life-changing. I won't be telling my parents because I know they'd want some of it, but they genuinely don't need it. They're fine. My wife and I, however, are considerably poor and live paycheck to paycheck. We also have 2 little ones. We can finally think about getting a home. We can finally have a savings account. I feel like a kid in a candy store. Edit. Hey everyone. Thanks for caring about my little happiness and giving all your condolences. My grandma was a sweet lady. I didn't expect anyone to care. But don't worry, I already thought about a financial advisor. Not a lawyer, but I should. My wife will be knowing despite what most of you are saying, but I don't plan on disclosing the full amount. I want her to know that we have some money now and can finally relax a bit though. My wife and I are best friends and life partners. I trust her with my life, and if anything happens to me, she'd be the one calling the shots because I know she'd take care of me. I'd do the same for her in a heartbeat. I get that crappy things happen sometimes, but if you're marrying someone and don't trust them with something this important, why are you with them? We've been through a lot together, so money isn't going to rock our boat. I wouldn't have married her if I didn't know who she was. Sorry for rambling. I love my wife and she's awesome. If that comes back to bite me in the butt someday, so be it. But yeah, I'm thrilled and I'm sure my wife will be too. I won't be stupid with the money and I'll be getting a financial advisor and lawyer thanks to your guys' advice. Thanks again, everyone. Next story. I've been pretending to be living with guilt for years to save my marriage. A little over 4 years ago, while my family was asleep, an intruder broke into my home and I killed him. I shot him 5 times with my 12 gauge and I was never charged with anything because it was a clear-cut case of self-defense. It was a terrible experience and I think I will always have some sort of paranoia at night from it, but I do not regret in any way what I did to protect my family. I feel no sympathy for the man I killed and would do it again in a heartbeat if given a second chance. In the months after the event, my wife tried talking to me about it, and I was honest with her about how I felt that I did what I had to and his death was entirely on him for breaking into my house while armed. Over the months, she started acting more coldly to me and our marriage began to suffer. After one of our increasingly frequent fights, she said that she didn't think she could be married to a man who could kill someone and not feel anything about it. This really pissed me off because I felt like I was being punished for saving her and our children's lives, and we fought all night about it. She was convinced that I was just blocking out my emotions and wanted me to go to therapy. I didn't think it was necessary but finally relented and said I would go if it would make her happy. I found a therapist and set up an appointment, and for the first couple of months, we talked about the shooting and how I felt about it. In the end, he said that I seemed to be coping with it as well as could be expected, but that he would be happy to continue seeing me for some of my unrelated issues. I had some trauma as a kid that he actually had a lot of experience with, so our sessions became more focused on that. Our sessions are much less frequent now, but I still see him semi-regularly, and my wife still thinks that they are about the shooting. I told her that he was helping me process the guilt I feel from it, and she still thinks that is why I am going. I still feel no remorse, but just keep it to myself now. Next story. I ruined my brother's life over a dumb prank. I 23F have generally gotten along with my brother 28M and his girlfriend 28F, though I don't think my sister-in-law has ever really liked me. She moved in with my family when she was 17, and back then, my brother and I would have typical sibling fights over things like food and the Xbox. She always took my brother's side in these arguments, but I figured we'd all moved past that since we're adults now. Despite her snarkiness towards me, Olive always tried to ignore it. I recently came home from college to celebrate my 23rd birthday with friends and family. The night before my birthday, we had a family dinner where my brother brought up a childhood memory of a shared birthday party when I was 8. I had gotten mad that he blew out the candles before me, so I playfully wiped a bit of cake on his nose. We all laughed about it as it's a fond memory, and there's even a framed picture of it in our parents' living room. The only one who didn't laugh was my sister-in-law. The night of my birthday party, everyone was there. My friends, family friends, my parents, my brother, and my sister-in-law. After I blew out the candles, I suddenly felt someone grab a fistful of my hair and try to shove my face into the cake. I struggled to stand as she was pulling my hair so hard. People were yelling at her to stop. Even my mom tried to pull her off me, but she shoved my mom backward. My brother also told her to stop. She then grabbed the back of my neck and used her weight to push me down. Her nails dug into my skin, drawing blood. I had enough and, in pain and frustration, turned around and punched her as hard as I could. She fell backward, crying, and ran out the room till silent. My brother apologized, saying he didn't know why she did that. My mom was mortified, insisting that if it was a joke, she wouldn't have been that rough. My dad was angry because she had drawn blood with her nails and the cake had skewers in it to keep it upright. He made it. My best friend got me a cloth to wipe the blood off my neck. My parents made everyone leave, and my brother eventually went home too later that night. My sister-in-law texted me, saying she was going to sue me and press charges, claiming I couldn't take a joke and that she was just getting payback for my brother. I sent a screenshot of the text to my brother, who responded with, "What the F?" Around midnight, he came to our parents' house looking really sad. They have been together for a long time. I feel like I ruined everything. I keep getting texts from her. The most recent one was her blaming me, saying that I ruined a relationship over a joke, and I should have just let her push my head into the cake. She keeps saying that it woo just been funny. Me and my brother this morning, we were eating the leftover cake, and he smudged a little bit on my nose to get even, but I can still tell he's really sad. I don't like to see my brother like this. I feel like I ruined everything. Everything was so perfect before this happened. If I could take it back, I would. My brother has done so much for me, and I gave him this. I ruined his life. I'm sorry for the bad format. I'm on mobile and English is not my first language. Next story. I chose my mom instead of my baby sister in a lake. This happened a while ago, but I'm still facing problems from my choice. No one died, but it was a thought on the table for a moment. My mom was playing with my siblings in a lake when she suddenly passed out for some reason. No one could tell us why. She just fainted. My brother 10 could swim, but my sister 3 wasn't that good and had a life jacket on and panicked. I chose my mom instead of getting her to shore. Other people rushed in after seeing that I wasn't choosing my sister, but my mom was drowning. They didn't go in after my mom, but everyone had a heart attack when my sister started flailing. My brother was screaming for help, and no one did anything about it until my sister was panicking. They were moving at a snail's pace until they saw that I wasn't choosing my sister. Maybe they thought my brother was lying and being dramatic. I don't know. You could see my mom not moving, and she was sinking. My brother wasn't strong enough to keep her up. He was trying, but no one was moving fast at all. I love my sister so much, but I didn't care about her in that moment. The second I heard my brother screaming that mom needed help and saw that no one was really moving, I went into fight or flight and didn't choose to save my sister. I've received extreme backlash from my family ever since, but I don't know what else I was supposed to do. I didn't think, I just acted. My mom is angry with me too, but I don't understand. My sister is terrified of water now and won't even get in the bath. I've been the hot topic of our family for the past month. I was sure my mom was going to die. I had to scream at them to call 911 and do something. They were all more concerned about my crying sister than my mom, who was unconscious in a lake. I don't remember a lot about the aftermath, but I know it was a lot. Sorry if none of this made sense. Today is just harder than most days, and I needed to vent. I didn't want this on my real account either, and having people see what I think. They'll just talk about me more, and I don't want that. I'm so tired of being the bad guy. I didn't think that choosing to save my mom would be such a bad choice. Some days I regret it and then beat myself up over how stupid that sounds, and other days I just want to disappear. Everyone hates me and I just don't get it. Why would I not choose my mom? I've known her my entire life. She's my everything. I hate my entire family. No one handled that right in my opinion. My brother could have gotten hurt and my mom could have died. My brother is going through a lot too, and no one is worried about him because he didn't get hurt and could swim. Next story. I slept with my sister's husband after she passed away. My older sister passed away 7 months ago. It was an accident, so totally unexpected, and I still don't believe she's actually gone most of the time. It feels unreal. Our family still hasn't recovered, and I don't know when or if we ever will. My sister was 10 years old than me. I'm 22 and she would be 32 now. She and her husband have 2 kids, both under 5 years old. My family has been helping him with the kids. He's a good dad, but understandably, to suddenly become a single parent to 2 very young kids, all while needing to maintain his job and dealing with the grief of losing his wife, he needs help. He moved here because my sister wanted to be near us, her family. She wanted to raise her kids where we're from, where she grew up. He's from another state originally, but he agreed to settle down here when they got married because it was so important to my sister. I think we're all nervous he'll move away now that he has no reason to stay, and we won't get to see the kids often. I just graduated college in the spring. This past year I was helping out with my niece and nephew a lot. I often picked them up from daycare and things like that because I have a flexible schedule compared to everyone else. I've always got along with my brother-in-law really well. He's always been nice to me and treated me like a little sister. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to him for advice, especially regarding guys and things like that. It's easier to talk to him about certain things because he gives me more honest, unbiased advice than my parents or sister. I really thought my sister was so lucky, and he was like the type of guy everyone wants to marry. Good looking, good job, great dad, really personable, responsible, just like the definition of the complete package. My sister had been with him since they were both freshmen in college, and we all knew she was going to marry him the first time we met him. Even me as a little kid knew he was the one. I slept with my brother-in-law this weekend. I was over there on Friday. I picked the kids up from daycare, which I do every Friday since I only work a half day. I made dinner over there. I had no intention of having sex with him or trying to have sex with him. I've not been aiming for this to happen. He initiated it. I didn't say no. It started with kissing. Then he started taking my top off and I let him do it. He didn't force me, to be very clear. He's never done anything that I'd consider inappropriate with me or towards me. At the time, I enjoyed it. It made me feel so good that he wanted me. But at the same time, I kept thinking, this is wrong, this is wrong. I sort of just laid there. It was very much about him getting off. I think he just needed it, to feel comforted or something. Afterwards, we got dressed and didn't say anything. Then he said he was really sorry and that we shouldn't have done it. I told him it was okay. He said he'd prefer if we don't tell anyone about it. I didn't plan to. I feel so dirty about it. It was so wrong. I feel like a little kid who has done something that they're going to get punished for, and I'm convinced somebody is going to find out. Next story. I missed my best friend's funeral because my husband had a panic attack, and I am racked with guilt. Pretty much what the title says. Throwaway. Edit. Sorry, I myself was using the phrase panic attack. He didn't call it that. I thought it was one, but now I know that's not what it was. He himself called it a nervous breakdown. Edit 2. I don't know if it matters, but the argument we were having was that he wasn't feeling well and he asked how long the funeral was going to take. I said he didn't have to come if he wasn't well, but say so now before I got on the freeway. He said I was picking a fight with him for asking a simple question, and it devolved from there. Edit 3. Again, I used the wrong wording. My husband isn't bipolar, just regular depression and anxiety. I used the word manic as an adjective in that he gets maniacal, but not manic depressive disorder. Sorry, that was my fault. My best friend died a long, drawn-out death. She was in a conscious but vegetative state for the last 6 months of her life, and in selfishness, I saw her only twice in those last 6 months. I guess it was too hard to see her like that. I feel like a bad friend, which only makes this situation worse. My husband has major manic depressive episodes. We were trying to work on it with couples counseling, meditation, mindfulness, etc. It's up and down, but his mood had been especially worse leading up to this event. I was the driver on the way to the funeral. An argument started, and he asked me to pull over and he would take an Uber home. Before I knew it, he was having a panic attack, thrashing in the seat, stomping on the floor, and slapping his face. I pulled over on the freeway, but he was yelling I had to keep driving or we will be late. I tried to calm him down, but he was yelling and screaming and hitting himself, oscillating between how he wanted to die and how if we didn't go, he knew I would resent him forever. He ran out of the car and down the freeway, screaming. Once I got him back in the car, he was crying for his mummy and still saying we needed to go to the funeral. Obviously, I couldn't go to the funeral with him like that. I called his mum and she said she will meet us back at our house. I took him home. He was panicking that I will hold this grudge against him forever, and even though I assured him his mental health was my priority, I knew I was lying. His mum calmed him down, then left, and I took him to the doctors. I missed my best friend's funeral. I know I should have seen her more while she was still with us. And I know I should be supportive of my husband's mental well-being. Attending her funeral was supposed to be the least I could do, and I missed it. I was a crappy friend in her last days and a crappy friend in her death. I am eaten alive with guilt. The guilt is a horrible, burning feeling in my heart, and it's consuming me. I lied to my friend's family about why I didn't make it to the funeral. I don't know why I lied. My husband finally agreed to go to his own individual therapy. He started back up with practicing gratitude and exercising, probably some other things, but I don't even care anymore. He knows something is up, but I feel like I can't say what's going on because it would overwhelm him with guilt he doesn't need. My mother-in-law called me and said, I know you are sad you missed your friend's memorial, but she was probably your guardian angel that day, guiding you to help husband. I just sat and said nothing. Next story. I hate my brother. I hate my family for blaming my girlfriend for something that isn't her fault. It's not right, but we are being blamed for something that isn't our fault. I just need to get this out somewhere because the situation with my family is too much. I don't know how much more vitriol my girlfriend can take, and it's not fair. I've been dating my girlfriend for 8 months. My mom and dad had a party for their 30th anniversary. There is a pool in their garden. My 2-year-old nephew fell in the pool. My girlfriend was the one who noticed and got him out. She did CPR until the ambulance took him to the A&E. This was the worst day of my life. My family blames my girlfriend and me to a lesser extent for letting my nephew fall in the pool. He isn't ours, it isn't our pool, and no one asked us to mind him or the other children. My brother and sister-in-law and at least 50 other adults were in the garden. Both the mothers and fathers of all the children as well as their own grandparents were there in the garden. The other kids were playing in the pool. My girlfriend was the only one who noticed my nephew in the water. My brother and sister-in-law didn't. Neither did my parents. Neither did anyone else whose grandchildren were playing in the water. My brother told my girlfriend he would take her to court if he could. I thought this was said in the heat of the moment, but it's been 2 weeks and he hasn't said anything to take it back. He blames her. My sister-in-law said more than once that she hates my girlfriend. My mom and dad are disappointed in my girlfriend. If anyone in my family feels differently, they haven't said anything to me or spoken up about it. Everyone is either blaming us or staying silent. I'm most angry at my parents and my other siblings. I could understand that my brother and my sister-in-law aren't in their right minds because it's still unknown if my nephew will fully recover. But my other siblings said that my brother has a point when he blamed my girlfriend. My aunt and uncle asked if I have reconsidered my relationship. My girlfriend is distraught about what happened, and being blamed is not helping the situation. I've been telling her she isn't to blame and that I'll keep my family away, but I don't know if it's helping. I want to do everything I can to show her that I love her. If I say anything to defend her or myself to my family, it falls on deaf ears. My family is angry at me too. I'm not even talking to my family right now, and I don't know if I ever will again. We are the only two people at the party who don't have children or grandchildren, but we are getting all the blame. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel. Our posts